What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-minute Touch Warmup on the On the Floor with Liv and Core podcast. I'm Core, that's Liv, and you guys, do you see who is on this episode? The Queen, the one, the only. Brooklyn Moores is here with us today. Brooklyn, I cannot believe you're here. This is amazing. Thank you for being here.
It's an honor to be here.
Ugh.
It really is.
Do you understand how obsessed we are with you?
I mean, I'm also obsessed with you guys, so it's kind of a two-way thing. So it
It's
just,
what you're saying is this is called friendship.
yeah, obviously we're
Ugh,
we're besties at this point. So I'm so excited.
ugh, thank you. Okay, 10 minutes. We need to gab for 10 minutes.
Perfect.
We're gonna want to talk for longer, but we don't need neutral deductions here, Brooklyn, okay? Are you ready, Olivia?
Duh.
Duh. Okay, ready, set, go.
Okay, Brooklyn, you have done 5 years of, or 4 years of iconic floor routines. Iconic. Can you tell us? You don't have to tell us which is your favorite, but talk us through those routines because I think they hit so much deeper than a floor routine. Their performances and like vignettes and the way you perform it is with that intentionality. So talk to us about those routines and what, moments maybe in them that mean something to you that's bigger than just the routine.
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of my floor routines, I've always tried to create a story through it. And I think every year has been a little bit different. Even my elite routines, I always kind of made like was a dramatic love story or something like that, or something like scary. But yeah, through the years here, my freshman year was kind of just, I think, evolving of my college self, I would say. And then I think this year, I'm gonna say it's my favorite. I think this one is kind of just about the journey of like my whole gymnastics career as a whole. But I don't know if there's any like specific moments. I kind of always try to keep my iconic pieces in it, but also to connecting all the floor routines with like the starting pose, the ending pose was kind of special. So
Who
yeah.
came up with that idea?
I actually recently talked about it with someone. I think it was on another podcast I did, but it actually was like by accident. Because BJ and I are like, let's like start when I was making the Euphoria one. We couldn't really come up with a pose. We're like, okay, let's just keep the ending pose for now. And it ended up working really well. And we're like, okay. And then we're like, why don't we just do it for the last one too? So it kind of just created like a chapter of my book. So
No, it's amazing. And I don't know if you saw my tweet this week, but I suggested that we stop everything and we have a showcase, a gala of sorts, if you will, where the showcase only consists of Brooklyn Moores doing all four of her routines back to back to back
Mhm.
to back. Um, because of the evolution of the final pose being the first pose and
Mhm.
how like it would all of us would be crying, just so you know. And maybe like you don't even need to tumble. Like we don't need that. Maybe just like a good layout step out, but
I was gonna say I'm like actually saw your tweet and I'm like I'm so down as long as I don't have to do the tumbling passes for each one.
that's it. Maybe just like one like round off layout step out.
Yeah,
That's it.
okay. I can
That's
do
it.
that.
Um, it would be just so beautiful. But all of this to say, you emote in your floor routines in such an amazing way that it can't be taught. It only can be like witnessed and hopefully something that other athletes can see how you emote and then they transform their own movement quality with their own emotion and be able to bring that to the stage in what is artistic gymnastics. But was there something in your career that, inspired you to emote in the way that you are? Because it feels like a deliberate decision at some point to not just do poses in a routine and tumble.
Yeah, growing up I had a lot of like whether it was coaches or athletes around me that kind of um emphasized performance and all of that. And I realized at a young age, of course, like I always talk about, I didn't have the difficulty, so I tried to put in a performance, and I realized I like really like to show off. And I've had kind of all of the different types and styles of floor routines. Like I had a Spanish routine when I was younger, I had a tango routine. So I've kind of done it all and learned how to engage the audience or the judges. And I think I remember one competition when I was really little, I like looked at the judge and with like, like the eyes, and then I did a pose, and she was like, and I think ever since that moment I was like, okay, like they like the like being engaged, and that's my favorite part of all of it. And I get in my zone now, obviously, but it kind of just happens naturally. And if I'm putting on a show, I know I'm doing my job right. And like that's all I want to do. You know what I mean? I always say like I want the scores, but I'm always happy to kind of put on a performance. So
Oh, so
yeah.
good.
And if I can carry that on to other people, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to show like the younger generation that you kind of do both, have the difficulty, have the performance, and make it engaging. So
So cool.
I think a lot of people struggle with that because they think, well, I need to conserve my energy, but the way that you perform, it molds into the tumbling. It's even your the Rudy and then you throw your head back. Like that's part of the choreo, it seems. It's not like it's so it molds so well. And I don't know, I love it so much. But you also don't tumble backwards. So, can you tell us a little bit about like when was the last time you tumbled backwards? Will you end your career having never tumbled backwards again? Like walk us through that because I think a lot of people struggle with fears and they don't think they can go far in the sport and you have completely shattered that. So, can you talk a little bit about that and when was the last time you back tumbled?
yeah, I mean, I'll try to put this in a Spark Notes version because there's a long version. But when I was little, I always kind of struggled with it, but I was able to still kind of get through it and have the hard days. And then I hit a point when I like hit a growth spurt, and then it really it really hit me, and I just couldn't do back walkover. Like I just my mind wouldn't go flip backwards. So it was definitely tough, and I had a lot of people like telling me to like quit, be done, because at that point in jail, you're like, if you can't do a round back handspring, like you're not really gonna get anywhere. And I feel like I didn't have a lot of people to look up to be like, okay, I can actually make it far doing front tumbling or something like that. But it was something I continued to struggle through my elite career. But I always kind of found a way to move forward, as I say. I started playing with like more front passes. I always had to do a requirement or something that was backwards. So in elite, I was able to do one of my passes from a round off, and then the Valdez on beam was my back skill. So
Mhm.
like I just had to play around with all my front skills and ended up, trying some cool like double fronts and things like that, which opened a lot of doors for me, which was cool. But yeah, still struggle through it to this day. Ended up putting the round up load in on floor, which ended up being like I had to like fight so many years in elite, being like, can I please just like do that as my one pass? And one of my past coaches wouldn't let me do it. And then I had a new coach who was like, let's put it in. So I put it in for the Olympics. It was great. Ended up being kind of like the centerpiece of the routine and brought that into college, which was cool too. Um, Still haven't back tumbled since then. I don't plan on it. Maybe I'll do it once for fun to like do a double back. I don't know in the spring. I, from a round off. I won't be doing a round back handspring.
I was like,
But
I
don't
feel
tease
that.
us like that.
I mean, I'll do it like once into a pit, but that's
Right.
it.
Yeah. Then call it a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, then this year I ended up putting the back handspring in on beam, which was like that was the biggest achievement of my career, and I stand on that. Like that is so hard for me, and you don't even understand. Like, and I go through phases where I like it just still won't happen for me. And luckily, Lacey is the best beam coach ever, and is able to kind of work with me. And it's difficult. I'm like my hardest person on myself too, right? Where I get frustrated. I'm like, everyone else can just go do a back handspring something, and I'm like, why can't I do that? So like right now I'm going through it a little bit, which is why I've been on beam a lot lately. But I'm hoping to do it at least like one more time before I retire, just to
Yeah.
kind of like and not a good note. So we're gonna do it like one more time. Just gotta get my brain to work with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pausing the time for a second because I just think it's important to just help young athletes understand that even someone who has competed at the levels that you have competed in, face thoughts and moments and ups and downs and fears in similar ways to that of someone who is in compulsory trying to just really try hard to get through that moment that you once faced as an athlete. And I'll be frank with you, like we had a conversation with Haley Bryant about the exact same thing. And she told us that the last time that she back tumbled was in compulsory. Um,
Pretty
and
much
so
the same.
yeah, and so, I just think it's really important to really emphasize the fact that there's communication and creativity that can lead to this moment of you being able to achieve goals, achieve dreams, continue to compete at the highest level. It doesn't mean that there aren't hard days, but it is to be emphasized that all of those things together and a great support system rallying around you has led you to the moments that you're in now.
Yeah, exactly. When I try to look at it from a different perspective, I'm like, it was the hardest thing in my gymnastics career, and it was the thing that held me back the most and the thing I battled with most. But it also brought me to some, I don't even know, like unique parts of gymnastics that maybe wouldn't be shown otherwise. Like I got to do a pod on floor, like a front handspring double, front half on floor, or like front handspring, front tuck, or front handspring dismounts on beam. Like it just brought me to some really cool things, and ended up going to some really cool places. Like it ended up bringing me to Worlds, the Olympics, to UCLA. Like the I had to learn the hard way that everyone's path like was not the same. So I think that's been really important for me, and a message like I want to emphasize to other people that like the journey, it does not look the same for everyone. And there's always a way to make it, and whether that's through being creative or anything like that. Like it's always worth it, and it almost makes it sweeter when you get there, Like I never thought I would make it to the Olympics or anywhere because I was stuck on a back walk over on beam or a back handspring on beam for literally like hours a day. You know what I mean? So it's just like the journey together was like difficult, but it like makes it worth it. And I've gotten actually a lot of like messages recently from so many people, and it's been really touching for me because I always wanted those people to look up to. So it's been really sweet.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, we're so proud of you. Like the fact that you've battled through this for as long as you have. And, by the fans' perspective, like it's such a gift to us all just to be able to see the what you've been able to create in your gymnastics. And to know your story, like is battle tested and is one that like you wake up every morning knowing that like you like I can imagine it's like, oh gosh, I have to go do that back handspring again. But then at the same time, like there's probably a switch that flips in your drive to the gym where you're like, no, I get to do a back handspring and I get to push through this for my team and for all the things that just feel very Brooklyn laced to me and knowing you. And like I was sitting there as you were just talking and I was like kind of tearing up a little bit. In the say I teared up in our interview with Shay because I mean, no one can take away from me that, you're a Bruin sister to me and we share that bond. But there's so much pride that and I'm speaking for Olivia in this as well. Like, you are an inspiration to so many people, in everything that you've done in our sport, whether it's the artistry, the push through the fears, just the way you carry yourself, the way you're a teammate, all of these things that people can see, that you deserve all of the flowers, my friend. So,
Thank you. That really does mean a lot. Like, thank you
mm,
so much.
of course, of course. Okay, so,
Corey, before your last question, I
yeah,
have one question that I need to know.
You have to ask this question, Olivia, because we are now in between the two Coachella weekends and it feels very Coachella laced.
It feels very Coachella laced. Okay, when did you decide to put gems in your hair? And where do we get the gems that stay and withstand all of yeah,
Okay.
correct,
Well,
Corey. I'm thinking ahead. Yeah, walk us through the gems, the story behind the gems, where we get the gems, all the things.
okay. So, okay, I'm gonna like gas myself up here for a second. Just made a TikTok on how to do it. So, if you want to know how, I had someone on Twitter ask me, and I was like, oh, like I have to. Like this is just like I want to share this, you know? So go check out my TikTok.
Period.
I'm
Period.
not an influencer at any type of thing, but I made a vlog, inspiration my teammate. Anyway,
Oh, I'm so watching that.
so I like didn't want to do braids anymore because I'm like, I feel like it just doesn't really suit me. I was liking my just doing a slip back because it's not as stressful, and then I was like, I feel like I need a little something. So then I think it was like a few times last year I started putting them in like one, two, three. I'm like, okay, I kind of like it. And then I kind of made it a tradition this year, and it's been kind of fun. And I literally just use hairspray and little gems that I get. They're like they have a little bit of adhesive on them, but I like hairspray, stick them on, hairspray over top. One, two, three.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
here's what I'm gonna say. I got an email because we're working on the shows for this week for semifinals, and I have to do a great clips, great hair cam in the stadium. And
You figured it out.
last year I had a fan spray paint my hair blue, but it feels like I need to have a fan put Brooklyn Moore's gems in my hair.
Okay.
I think you do.
I like it. I think you should do it.
Because
I'll buy them off Amazon.
okay,
Yeah.
please. She's doing it right now.
I'm watching the TikTok and I'm doing it right now.
It's amazing. Okay, enough of this. We have to finish this episode, you guys. We have one final question for you, Brooklyn. We're asking all of the student athletes that we were chatting with this week heading into nationals. Gymnastics is a very unique sport in the sense that while you are competitors on the competition floor with all of the other amazing gymnasts that are there is just this bond that I know that you feel with so many other athletes on other teams. So our question for you is there another athlete or athletes on another team, not UCLA, I know you're inspired by your teammates, that you look up to or are inspired by?
You know what? Since we were just talking about her, I'm gonna say Haley, Haley Bryant. Like, I feel like we've kind of been through a little bit of the same journey with mental blocks and things like that. But her gymnastics is just absolutely stunning, and she's an even better person. So I'm gonna say her for sure.
It's a
That's
great
a great
choice.
answer. If I could witness like a Haley and Brooklyn moment, I think I would pass out.
We
Yeah.
probably need to make it happen.
Okay,
So
Yeah, I think so.
okay, I'll hold both of your hands and walk you to each other.
that sounds perfect.
Great. Great. Well, Brooklyn, thank you so much for being on today. We are super excited to see you this week in Texas, alongside your Bruin teammates. We hope you have an amazing time, and just thank you for your vulnerability today. I think it's to be commended for the way you share and the way you open up your heart to allow people in. And it's very inspiring. So thank you so much.
And we're
Well,
so
thank
proud
you
of
so
you.
much. Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me,
Of course, of course.
guys.
Okay, guys, that's another episode of the 10-minute touch warm up that went longer than 10 minutes, because it's in air quotes, of course. Uh, and this is the On the Floor with Liv and Core podcast. We hope that you guys are enjoying listening. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. I think I'm supposed to say that. And if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so happy you're here. Make sure you download, share it with a friend. It's so fun. Okay. That's it. That's all we got. Stay tuned for more episodes this week. It's going to be tons of content, especially when we get on the floor in Fort Worth. So, with that, we're out. Bye, guys.